The world keeps destroying itself, water passes under the bridge, and a new generation of Nvidia graphics cards is a pain to cool down. Basically what I'm trying to say is that nothing changes, but if you want to cool down an RTX 4080 as well as possible, then something like the Aorus RTX 4080 Extreme Waterforce is probably your best bet. And for just $1,450, it's definitely not the most atrociously priced RTX 4080 out there, for what that's worth. And honestly, I expected a card like that to cost a lot more, seeing how it comes with a whopping 360mm AIO setup to keep the RTX 4080 cool. That is a huge deal and should allow the GPU inside to perform at the best of its abilities, and that is why Gigabyte gave it a factory overclock of just 60 MHz. Yeah. As far as factory overclocks go for a water-cooled card, this one is about as conservative as the current British government, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to manually allow this card to stretch its legs a bit more. Not only that, but the card itself is super compact, much smaller than even the Founders Edition RTX 4080, if you don't count the massive radiator and fans hanging off the side, but you know, small details. In fact, the card itself is just a dual slot card, so the overall footprint of it is pretty small, and you should also not have to worry about GPU sag on this model. However, that doesn't mean that everything is sunshine and rainbows in Gigabyte camp, because otherwise it wouldn't be a Gigabyte product. No, gaze your eyes towards the back of the graphics card where you'll find this, only a single HDMI port. And call me a broken record as much as you like in the comments below, because I say this in pretty much every single one of my videos right now, but that is simply unacceptable for such an expensive graphics card. And while I'd want to be more lenient and say that maybe this is as good as it gets on a dual slot graphics card, because they have less space to play with. But the thing is that the last gen variants of these Waterforce cards had 2 entire rows of video outputs. Now Gigabyte are a smart company for the most part, but someone really needs to tell them that a new graphics card with less features than an old one is a downgrade. But whatever, I could be shouting that message from the peak of Mount Everest and no manufacturer would even take notice, so I should probably stop talking about it and talk more about what this graphics card does well. And another thing it does really well is the looks. Gigabyte, they do a lot of stuff wrong, but they do know how to make a glorious looking graphics card, and this one is no exception. It is absolutely stunning, and that alone might be worth the price to some of you, because yeah, the biggest thing it comes down to when it comes to this graphics card is the price. It's definitely not the cheapest RTX 4080 out there, but definitely not the most expensive one. But the issue is that at that point, you might as well go for something like an RTX 4090, which is pretty much what everyone has been telling anyone that's shown any interest in RTX 4080 so far. But here's the problem. RTX 4090s have come and gone faster than Kanye on Twitter recently, and there's literally none in stock anywhere. So it's not valid feedback for anyone interested in buying an RTX 4080. So if you really desperately need a card right now that's actually in stock, that performs well and isn't as expensive as some other graphics cards out there, then under those very strict conditions, this card is actually fairly good. Basically, it's one of the better RTX 4080s out there, but let's be honest, that doesn't mean much. But still, if you want to get this graphics card yourself, then make sure to use the Amazon links down in the video description below. And hey, while you're here, if you want to help us support this channel, then make sure to check out our Patreon, because even a single $1 a month truly goes a long way, while you get awesome perks as well. I'd also love to thank my existing patrons, Gavin Burns, Ryan, OKB, Justin Rage, Elf Roniak, Bardish Velka, Meg Sumner, Shane Allcroft Lansby, and Jesse Herdman. Thank you guys so much, support truly goes a long way. Down there you're going to find our merch store, our Discord server, and our social media links as well. But anyway, that's what it's. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, remember, subscribe, like, whatever, and I'll see you all whenever I make next. Goodbye everyone. Goodbye.